Welcome to Wilson Talks TM. I'm Andy Wilson, and in this video we are going to build on the requirements video that I've previously published, and we're going to talk about Agile versus Waterfall. Now, as a developer engineer, you will quite often use both of those methodologies, and Agile is more commonly used within Scrum. And what you'll find is that that development life cycle is an iterative approach. You will start off with something basic and build on it, but each time you build on it, the product that you've delivered becomes more usable, or it adds more content to it. So I remember seeing an analogy that started off with like a scooter, then it changes into a tricycle, and then into a quad, and then into a car, then into a bus, for instance. And you kind of get what I'm saying, that there's that iterative approach. Whereas waterfall is kind of it's a linear process rather than circular. And what you do is you define all your requirements up front, which is quite an intensive process. But once you've got those requirements, it then goes through to development, and you know exactly what you are going to develop, and then how it's going to be tested, and then how it's going to be released and put forward to the stakeholder or the customer. Now, I like to do the gaming crossover, and I thought about this from a logical point of view and thought, well, what games do I see as waterfall? And to be quite honest, I see those games as being the ones that have no download. They are disc-based or cartridge-based. If you think about the PlayStation 1 games, the PlayStation 2, you think about the Nintendo 64, then they are the epitome of waterfall. And what you get with those is you get the final product. The requirements have been set out. Look, this is what we are going to deliver. And that product is put forward to the consumer. And there is no turning back on that. I mean, imagine trying to get in all the Nintendo 64 or Super Nintendo cartridges and saying, look, we need to add an extra bit of chip here to be able to give you 5 new levels. It wouldn't happen. The only time that something like that would happen is if there was safety concern and a product recall, which generally wouldn't happen. Now, if we think about Agile, to me it's like the early access games. And let's take Ark, for instance, Survival Evolved. That game was in early access for years, but what it had was the buy-in from the public. They knew what they were buying into. They knew that I was picking up this game for maybe £14.99, and I can expect some issues, but I can expect those issues to be resolved and built on and follow that iterative process. And what happened was there was buy-in from the consumer. But what happens when you don't have buy-in? When you don't have buy-in from consumers, customers, there's confusion, there's restlessness, there is an impatient mentality to it. And that's why it is so important, if you are delivering something agile, that you speak to the stakeholders, you speak to the customers, and you let them know that, look, this is not going to be the finished article. We will build on it, and we need your buy-in to make this the best possible product that it can be. And that's essentially what happened with Ark. If we take the flip side to it, let's take No Man's Sky, for instance. No Man's Sky was released as an end product, and it was released to the public with all this hype and a massive premium associated to it. And it was meant to be the best thing. But people were expecting an end product, a finished article. And what happened was that it wasn't. But they really worked on it. And the reviews of No Man's Sky recently, over the last 12 months, have been phenomenal. You know, the development team have really worked hard on increasing I suppose the playability of No Man's Sky, and yeah, it's a marvel to this day now. And that's what happens when you don't have buy-in. So you can use No Man's Sky as an example, but then when you do have buy-in, you can use Ark, Survival Evolved. So if you're working in an agile team, just make sure that your stakeholders understand that this is being built in an agile and iterative way. And what that will do is that will set expectations and make your life easier as a developer, tester, analyst, and so on. So that's it from me. Hope you got something from it. I said there was some weird analogies. Hopefully that one makes sense because it does in my head. But yeah, I'd like to know what you think in the comments, and let me know what you think is a perfect example of a waterfall game or a game that's been developed in an agile way. And that's it from me. Bye for now.